event comes to you from the New Orleans Lakefront Arena at the University of New Orleans. A very beautiful Coliseum. Fantastic place for a wrestling match. You see Jim Cornette counseling his team of beautiful Bobby Eaton and Loverboy Dennis Condrey. Condrey and Eaton are the third-seeded team in the Crockett Senior Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. Midnight Express are the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, and this match is for that championship. The Midnight Express defeated the Rock and Roll Express for it. Controversial fashion, as is usually the case for anything involving Jim Cornette. Bobby Eaton with a hard right to the face of Robert Gibson. Gibson was hurt there for a little while, but he came back and rocked Bobby Eaton. I tell you, the Midnight Express have always been such an impressive tag team. Bobby Eaton, in addition to being a great athlete, is also a double tough man. He'll fight a buzzsaw. We see the collar and elbow tie-up with Robert Gibson. Another great athlete. Whoa, Bobby Eaton gets slung out of those turnbuckles with a hip toss. Flying head scissor. Robert Gibson executes a really good flying head scissor for as tall as he is. You won't see too many men his size that are able to use that maneuver. Ricky Morton using the arm bar and twist. Bobby Eaton's the kind of guy that you want to keep down on the mat, keep your weight up on top of him, and try to tire him out. Because it's that nervous energy and that great fitness he has that keeps him alive. There you saw Jim Cornette, Mama's boy Jim Cornette. Oh, Ricky Morton going between the legs. Beautiful series there by Ricky. He's trying to finish it up with a nice move that I've only seen Ricky Morton use that move. It is devastating, let me tell you. You can see the results of it right there as Bobby Eaton is out on the concrete floor. And I'm sure Jim Cornette is not too happy about that. So we see Ricky and Robert staying in the ring. Like I said before, both these teams entered in the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament, both of them top seeds. You hear the fans here in New Orleans chanting, rock and roll, rock and roll. Another one of the great tag team combinations. Got their start and rose to stardom right here in this area. And the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express have wrestled each other before on several different occasions, as is no surprise to anybody who's watched our show for any period of time. And things get kind of different strategically as you get to know somebody, and you know, there's no better way to scout your opponent than to actually go out there and wrestle them. And I know from my own experience in amateur wrestling that if you practice with somebody every day, it's a much different story when you go out to wrestle in a ranking match or something. Once you and your opponent know one another's moves, it's almost like you can figure out what your opponent was gonna do and do something to counter it before anything even happens. The Rock and Roll Express are outsmarting the Midnight Express here. Ricky Morton goes out after Jim Cornette. He saw a prime opportunity to get his hands on the Mama's boy, and this looks like a prime opportunity to take a commercial timeout. Let's go to Jim Ross.
We'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of the World Tag Team Championship encounter after this television timeout.
The action's really cooking here in New Orleans at the Lakefront Arena. The Rock and Roll Express is against the Midnight Express. Thank you for staying with us. We'll stay with this match until its conclusion. Bobby Eaton locked up with Ricky Morton on the outside of the ring. You can see the ever vocal Jim Cornette. Dennis Condrey, it looked like, threw a cheap shot on Ricky Morton and has gained the momentum. One thing I like about watching these two teams wrestle is the fact that they're so evenly matched. It's almost to the point of whoever is having the better day that day is the one who will come out victorious. Of course, Jim Cornette has been instrumental in a lot of the Midnight Express's victories over the Rock and Roll Express. One of the ones that stands out in the minds of many fans, and mine as well, is the time they defeated the Rock and Roll Express in a loser leave town match for 90 days. Dennis Condrey putting the punishment to Ricky Morton. Ricky just about to make that tag. Ever so close, but Bobby Eaton. A blatant infraction of the rules, and I don't know if that's going to turn out to his advantage or not, but Eaton, a great opportunist, manages to get a cheap shot out of it anyway. Ricky Morton is really hurting now. Loverboy Dennis puts the boots to him. Some of the fans getting behind Ricky Morton. Bobby Eaton out now, and this is where the Midnight Express does a lot of their damages. On the outside of the ring, they use things like the ropes and the ring post, the floor, the ring barricade, anything they could do. Man alive! Dennis Condrey with a baseball slide into the face of Ricky Morton. You can see Morton is just incapacitated on the outside of the ring, and Carl Fergie, I'm sure, counting at this point. Ricky Morton has a 10 count to get up. You can see Ricky's hand